plumbing service.
This Mixed TV interview is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. Visit us online at wholesalesupply.us.
56143.
Secretary of State of the Volunteer State, Trey Hargett. Trey, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Although I know me being on's a letdown, apparently, compared to who you just had on.
Were you talking about David Foster?
Yeah, you were talking about everybody coming to the studio and fangirling and all this stuff, and I'm just like, now here's Trey Hargett.
Well, no. That's not what happened. I mean, but yeah, okay. I mean, look, if you put you and him together, you and Foster, you've got 16 Grammys between you. So that's tremendous.
That's exactly right. That's
yeah,
no doubt. I mean, we're a great team, and I couldn't have done it on my own, obviously.
Hey, listen, Secretary of State Trey Hargett joins us live from Nashville. Listen, so I'm glad you said that. Talk about the others coming in the room, because I have my co-host here of nearly 18 years, Bridget Forrester, feels like 118. But Bridget's got a little bone to pick with you, Trey, because last week you revealed the ballot in Tennessee finalized. What'd I tell you? And so she said, now listen, her and her mother started the Do Nothing Party. And she is the presidential nominee in the Do Nothing Party, and she wants to know why you excluded the Do Nothing Party from your ballot. What happened, Trey?
Well, I hate to really disappoint all her adoring fans. I know that I'm really going to upset a lot of people down in Southeast Tennessee today, but they were just a couple of signatures short on their petition to be recognized.
Come on.
Well, yeah. Hey, listen, they're doing their national convention in July, and we're trying to sign some people up. And she wanted to know how many paper plates and paper cups she needed. And her and her mother are going to be down at the Greenway here. That's that little creek, Mouse Creek here. And that's where they're having the national convention. At this point, Trey, they could have it in our studio as far as the attendance. So.
Bridget, I'll bring my own plate. How about that?
I would be honored to have you there.
She was all crying and everything. Said, well, why did they leave me off the ballot? Can't believe it.
I hope she'll consider me her administration. I think I could be the Secretary of State in Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Yeah. I need one of those, so yeah, sure. Come on.
I heard it here first.
Oh, man, this is big time. We're joined by Secretary of State Trey Hargett. Well, in all seriousness, just for a second, Secretary, it is Secretary Hargett. It's early voting time. It's hit this week, and my goodness, we're getting some good returns already.
We are, and that's in spite of the fact that it looks like that certainly the Democrat primary is not competitive. The Republican primary is down to a couple of candidates, but there's still local races, and we've got early voting going on through February 27th, and want people to get out and make their voice heard in these races.
Certainly so. We're joined by Secretary of State Trey Hargett. And you and I have talked about it before, Trey, and that is the importance of voting, the importance of actually casting a ballot. I mean, isn't that just the very essence of our nation?
Well, it is. I mean, it's how we make our voice heard in our country. It's how we hold our elected officials accountable. And what I tell people is when you don't vote, what you do is you turn over the keys of power to government to those that do. We're going to have an election whether or not you show up or not. So if you want to turn over all the power in government to me and those that vote, well, that's up to you. But I can't imagine why anybody would want to abdicate their opportunity to make their voice heard.
Absolutely. We're joined by Secretary of State Trey Hargett. Hey, there's a lot made of elections nowadays being secure. What do you say to that in the volunteer state?
Well, in Tennessee, I guess for 2 years in a row, we think probably the third year in a row coming up, we're going to be number one in the nation in election integrity based on the survey by the Heritage Foundation. We work hard to make sure every vote's counted once, no more, no less. The county election commissions throughout the state of Tennessee work in a bipartisan fashion, to count the votes, to program the machines, to work the polls. It's a bipartisan process through every step. And people need to make sure they understand that. We've got great laws in place. We execute those laws. And Democrats keep an eye on Republicans, and Republicans keep an eye on Democrats. And, in Bradley County, we make sure that only Bradley Countyans are working the polls. We don't let them come in from neighboring counties or neighboring states, and certainly not certainly not Iran, Venezuela, Russia, China, any of those countries either. These are people you go to church with, that you see at the bank, that you see at the grocery store, at football games, etc.
Well, it's a very important time. Of course, early voting, I believe, continues till the 27th of February. Is that right?
It does. And, of course, then Election Day is March 5th, so people have the opportunity to vote then. And you can find out more information on our website at govote10.gov, or we've also got a free app available in the Apple Store on Google Play. It's GoVote10. And you can download that, find out hours of operation, where your polling place is, who's on your ballot. Lots of great information on there.
Secretary of State Trey Hargett, Bridget's upset. She is a nominee, presidential nominee in the Do Nothing Party. But Bridget, as you told me off the air, and what I can repeat in front of boys and girls and the Secretary of State, you're not going to let this hold you down.
Mm-mm. Not at all. I'm going to continue to do nothing.
Well, Bridget's an overcomer. Everybody knows that.
Amen.
She's going to rise to the challenge, and I have no doubt, just like you have. I mean, Steve, you're a professional wrestling fan, aren't you?
Big time, big time.
No, and I don't think you get enough credit for being part of the Hart Foundation.
Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Come on now. I love it.
Exactly.
Hey, you know who I met last week? You know who came to Cleveland? Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, man.
Are you kidding?
That's a big deal.
I told him, I said, I've got about 10 people I'd like you to experiment with your DDT on. And Bridget was number one.
I was with a group of secretaries of state last week from across the country, and one of the icebreakers was, hey, tell me somebody famous you've met. And I named Ric Flair.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Secretary of State.
Good stuff, isn't it?
Trey Hargett. Secretary, thank you for calling. Call us back anytime.